Okay, so I'm so excited about this video because number one, this is a free tool. This is redfin.com. And I'm sure the reason why you're on my page is because you want to be a real estate investor, whether you're doing tax deeds, fixer flips, buy and holds. I feel like tax deeds is one of the best investment strategies where you can use all of the different real estate investment strategies. For example, you could buy a tax deed property and you can buy and hold it, or you can purchase a tax deed property and you can fix and flip it, or you can purchase a tax deed property and you can wholesale it. So I have been investing for over 20 years. And when I tell you, by far, I know you probably get tired of hearing me say this, but I feel like tax deed investing is one of the best strategies because you can use all three strategies with tax deeds. And I've really, based on all the students that I have helped, a lot, there's a budget for everyone. I mean, the lowest I believe one of my students paid was $1,000 for their property, and they turned around and they sold it for 5,000. That was their first time purchasing anything in their entire life. There was a little bit learning curve in regards to selling and getting it listed and hiring a real estate. But the point of my story is that you can literally purchase a property with any budget. Just really depends on where you live and where you're willing to go, which leads me to this video. This is what I encourage my students to do if you're really serious about buying tax deeds, is really understanding your market. And this is based on the United States housing market. This is Redfin. So this is a free resource that you guys can utilize. And it basically just tells you the housing market. Now, they aren't too up to date. I guess they probably do it quarterly. So this is as of August 2021. They're basically saying that home prices were up 16.2% compared to last year. And I am assuming that this is like an overall overview of the United States of the homes. So it goes and tells you what the medium sale price is, the number of homes sold, and then the national average 30-year fixed mortgage rate, which I thought was very interesting. And I was trying to look to see, like, wait a minute, like, what city are you guys talking about? But this is the United States housing market as a whole. So I'm assuming they're taking all their inventory that is listed on Redfin and they're combining it all together. So I'm just going to go through this. And as I'm going through this video with you, I'm actually learning some different things about this site. I really like it because I'm going to actually utilize this as a resource for my students. If you are, for example, I do have a lot of people from California, and of course, tax deeds there can be really pricey, but they're not as expensive as, buying a house. The retail, you still can get a property relatively cheap as a tax deed, but you're still looking at, two or $300,000, but the house may be like worth 5 or 6. So sometimes people don't have that type of cash. So I teach them to look in other areas. And so what was interesting to me, as some of you know, I moved to Texas to do this whole tax deed business because I thought at first it was too good to be true. And then I come to find out it wasn't too good to be true. It was actually true, and it's worked very well. And so this basically goes to show the top 10 metros with the fastest growing sale prices. And I'm like, okay, Red Rock, Texas, I haven't heard of that. So I'm gonna have to look that. It's growing at 52.8%. And then of course, Detroit, Michigan, they're really trying to revitalize that area. Somebody asked me about that today on a call. And I say to each its own. When I was in my late 20s, I pretty much was going all over the United States buying properties. And it was kind of like, it was good and bad all at the same time. I felt like every 6 months I had to get on a plane and go hire a new property manager, which was like horrible. But anyway, this goes to show you the top 10 metros that are the fastest growing with the sale prices. Arizona has a few places, which is really good. And Florida comes in at number 10, which I'm pretty surprised. So the top three is Texas, Michigan, and Arizona. Now, I don't know if anybody even knows of Surprise, Arizona, but surprise, we just learned something. I'm gonna have to look into that. But so this goes to show you like what's the fastest growing sale prices. That's the top 10. And then it goes to show you the housing supply. And what does it say? Are there enough homes for sale to meet buyers' demand? I personally don't think so, but for those people that are interested or looking to buy, I'm going to say hold your horses, because if you listen to this video, I'm going to show you a trend. And the reason why I'm showing you this too is because right here, you can type in whatever city you want. I don't know. I can't even think of a city. I could say Oakland. You could type in Oakland, California, and you can look at the housing market in that area. But I'm not going to go there right now because this is just talking about the United States as a whole. And it's saying that this is the number of houses that are for sale and the newly listed homes. Now, I don't know how much true this is. I was trying to like read further, but it's basically saying that this is the average for the whole United States. And as you guys can see, there's a few things that I want to show you. Number one, I'm going to scroll back up. If you guys notice, where does this curve is heading? If you guys notice, it went up and now it's starting to come slowly down. Now, I personally don't think that the sell price is going to drop significantly, but what I do believe is that the buying is going to slow down. And I really believe it's because the banks are going to start being a little bit more scrutiny and when it comes to financing. But if you notice, it's starting to level off. And this is basically the housing market overview. So this is basically they're saying as an average. So this is just the median price. So if you guys notice, it was like at 385, but it's slowly coming down. So what does that tell you? This was August 2021. So just take note, hold on to your horses. Now we're going to scroll on down here, and now it's saying the housing supply. Now look at this, it dipped. And I actually was trying to buy during this time. So I really believe that this is very, very true. Now, I honestly, you guys don't shoot the messenger. I personally do not know, like, if they're picking and choosing certain cities. It did say overall the housing market for the United States. So I don't know if it's like specific areas they're picking and choosing. But this is what I do know is that their inventory has been low. Like I was a realtor in Sacramento. And so like they still have problems. And I was trying to buy in Dallas and I just bowed out gracefully because I was like overbidding like everybody else. And I still was getting like bidded. And I was like, wait a minute, I just offered 30,000 over asking price and I'm going to have to still fix it up. And I still didn't get the deal. So I was like, I'm just going to bow gracefully. So, what I want you guys to know is that at the beginning of this year, like the inventory was very low, but then it started going up, 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 up. And guess what's happening right now? It's starting to go down. And you know why? Because people are getting scared. And also, too, people are probably realizing that I better hold on to what I have because I might not be able to go find another place. So that's one of the things. And then this basically goes to show, which kind of like I was just talking about asking above list price. They're saying that 51.9% homes sold was above list price. Now, and I switched it over to a year. If you guys notice, this is over like 3 years period. It's always good to do like 3 years unless you're going to do something like this for the housing demand. And this is for like my tax deed buyers, right? Because you want to, when you're buying tax deeds, you want to know what's happening within that year, depending upon what your exit strategy. So I switched this to 1 year only because I wanted to know if any of my tax deed students or me personally, if I'm going to buy a tax deed property, I want to know what is the average sell price and what's the average of the above list price. So if I bought a property, like what are my odds of selling it over asking price if I was to fix and flip it or if I was to wholesale it? Personally, for me, you guys, I do not fix and flip. If you do see me doing fix and flip projects, it's normally because I wholesaled it to an investor and then I asked them, can I be a part of the project, which means I want to see the transition. And then I always kind of like ask them like, how much did it cost, what the numbers were, because I really don't want that headache. But I always like to know what the above list price is because say I brought a property for, let's just say $20,000, but it's worth 170, but it may cost $30,000 to fix. Well, I could show my investors this stat and say, well, in this area, this is what's happening. 51.9% of homes are being sold above list price. So you can kind of like maneuver depending on what area you're in. And that's why I say you can go up here and do your city and your zip code. Don't forget right here. And you can basically determine whether you're going to fix and flip it, if you're going to buy and hold, or if you're going to wholesale it. Like I said, my strategy is wholesaling. So I just like to look at these stats so that if I do want to, stretch it a little bit in regards to saying like, yeah, it might be 30,000, but the list price it's going 51% over. 51% is selling over the list price, which means that that's why I'm asking for more because even though you can list it at this, you probably will get likely that you will get over asking. So this is a good tool that you can utilize if you're not an agent. Matter of fact, you could put some agents up on game because let me tell you guys, a lot of times agents don't even know about this. Like I feel like some agents are just like they only know how to buy or they only know how to represent buyers or they just know how to list. They're not really savvy in the investment space. And so sometimes you have to educate your realtor, especially if you're going to be doing tax deeds. I've had so many realtors ask me, how did I get this property or where I get it from? And I'd be like, oh, I just tell them to go to my uh, YouTube page and I kind of tell them to educate themselves there. But this also says homes with price drops. So let's see what this is talking about. So this is saying that 13.1% prices drop. So it says the share of homes with prices drops is an indicator of sellers struggling to attract buyers. So what does that tell you guys? 51%, I'm sure in certain areas are above list price. So that's probably like your Bay Area, like Sacramento, like your Dallas area. So mostly I'm sure your metro places. But if you guys notice now, this is going up, which means that home prices are starting to drop. So do you guys kind of get where I'm going with this? You know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to get you guys to understand is that if you are in the market for buying is to just hold off. However, if you are a tax deed investor, it's still good for you because it's a win-win situation. When I tell you you can get properties at a bargain discount, you can get properties at a bargain discount. But I don't want to sell you any wood nickels. Now, in certain areas, like I just had a student that was in Georgia, and he said the properties were going like bananas. So, in your larger metroplex areas, you're not going to get bargain basement properties. You're not going to get super cheap, but there are surrounding suburban areas that you can. There's also a strategy that I like to teach my students where you don't have to go to the auction, but I like to save that for when you purchase my course. That's like a bonus. So just wanted to add that. And then also too, this goes and shows the top 10 most competitive cities. Wow. So I'm actually learning something right now, you guys. Oh, there goes my city, Sacramento. That's where I used to be a realtor at. But wow, Aurora, Colorado is number one. Look at Michigan. Michigan is like in all these little cities. Wow. I need to check into Michigan. No, I don't. I don't know. I have a love hate with Michigan. Actually, I have a love hate for anything I have to travel to, unless it's a steal of a deal. But anyway, that is the supply. I just went over all the supply of the United States housing market. So this is basically, as I'm assuming you guys, this is just nationwide. So like, don't shoot the messenger. It isn't city specific, but I'm going to reiterate, you can go here and put in your trends for your city or your zip code. And I would highly suggest, if you're really serious about investing in tax deeds, that you look at the city that you're interested in investing in and look at the supply and look at the demand, because then that'll also tell you whether you want to invest in that city or not. So let's look at the demand. Oh, so this just goes right down there. So we did look at the demand already. So let me see. Let's just go see what Sacramento is doing, just out of curiosity. Huh. See, so it is nationwide, you guys, because if you guys look at this, it says the average housing sale price is 468. So as you guys remember right here, this is the United States, and it said the average is 380. So it is the United States, you guys. So I'm gonna just go back to Sacramento. And then it says this is 3.6% over list price. This is when you want to go to a specific city, and it's up 26.7 since last year, and the average house stays on the market 8 days. So if you guys were investing in Sacramento, this would be a good place, because you know that the average that a property is staying on the house is 8 days. That's pretty darn good. So that means, like, as soon as you, if you got a tax deed, you don't even have to worry 30 days. That's pretty darn good. Let's look at the demand. Oh, so yeah, the demand is very competitive. They are definitely right about that. Sacramento is bonkers, I swear. So anyway, that concludes my video. As you guys can see, I'm gonna back out so I can show you guys where you can go. Well, actually, I'm gonna go here where it says you, if you're buying options. So as an investor, you're always buying, right? So you wanna know um, what you're buying and where you're buying. So if you go to redfin.com, you just click on the buy and you do the drop down menu, and then you could go to US housing market and you click on it, and it's going to lead you here. Now, this is as an average for the United States. And once again, I'm just going to reiterate, you can put whatever city and zip code so that you can find out in your whatever city you want to invest in, or whatever zip code you want to invest in. It's really good to look into that city to know what the supply and the demand. If anybody knows about Robert Kiyosaki, he talks about that all the time. I've taken several of his courses back in the day. And so this right now, back in the day, they didn't have these tools, but now everything is at your fingertips. So I would suggest, if you're wanting to do tax deeds and you're looking in an area that you're not familiar in, like, you know, some of my California students, and they want to invest in places like Round Rock, Texas, this would be a good place to look. Let's go into Round Rock, Texas. Ooh, Round Rock, Texas is kind of expensive. I gotta go look in Round Rock, Texas. Where is Round Rock, Texas? Interesting. Let's see. See if I could familiarize myself. I gotta go deeper. Where is this? Let me go further. Oh, it's past Waco. Oh, it's near Austin. No wonder. So Round Rock, Texas is one of the fastest growing, and their median sale price is 475. Oh my God. Just imagine if you had purchased something in Round Rock as a tax deed. Look at the year over year. It's increased 52.8%. Wow. But the number of homes sold is negative. So actually, that's a good thing, because people are keeping the properties because they're noticing the growth. And the average days on the market is 34, which is, look at that, 200%. That's outstanding. And that's over the last 3 years. So this is just another tool, you guys, that you can utilize that can help you on your investment journey. Like I said, I use this tool when I'm going to other states and other cities. I use this to research the market and the trends. And so I hope this helps. If this video was helpful, please like, share, or comment, or become a subscriber. And I hope that I can still continue to deliver valuable content. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. Thank you.